Hello, Murphy Daly here with a moment of wonder. And I am sitting here about ready to go to church. And I thought I would stop and talk about what I'm reading right now, which is Being Mortal, about halfway through Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. So he's talking about what it's like to take care of people as they are dying as a doctor. He's such an amazing author. I mean, I've read, I think this may be the third book by him that I've read, and it's really amazing. He's talking about, well, yeah, people die, and as the title says, being mortal, and how are we supposed to handle that? Yeah. He does talk about the death of Ivan Illich, which I have also read. Interesting, as a doctor, he looked at it a bit differently than I did. But isn't that funny? We do look at what information we are given based on the biases and the importance that we place on things that are right now in this moment. I didn't think that much about his medical process, but Dr. Gawande did. Oh, right, guys, if you're watching right now, give me a comment. Give me a 1 in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, put a 2 there, please. I'd love to continue this conversation. The thing about Gawande's book is it's particularly meaningful to me because my father passed last year, and I went through the process. I was pretty involved in helping him go through hospice and working with my family to come to terms with, like, well, what's happening at what point. All along the way, it was like, wait a minute, what do we do? How serious is this? And different members of my family had different reactions to the seriousness of his disease and what ended up being his death. And Gawande is talking about that very thing. How do we actually deal with this? How do we make the decisions? And I was thinking about my profession, actually, as a project manager, and the training that I received in the Project Management Book of Knowledge, the PMBOK, which I've written in the comment or in the title of this video, where as a project manager, I have to think about, okay, what are we trying to do? What are the possibilities of what could happen that we have to remediate or make workarounds for? And that is a difficult thing to do. I work with a huge amount of people to get each project done, and not each of the people that I work with have the ability to see the multiple options that I do. I mean, we have to, like I said at the beginning, we have to focus on what we're trying to do. And my teams that are trying to do the very thing that's in front of them don't necessarily understand how I might have to reorganize and reschedule this, that, and the other thing in order to keep the whole project going forward. So the ability to hold in my mind more than one possible outcome and say, if this, then this, if that, then that, and know which trigger of when to switch tracks. As people are going through their treatment of serious illnesses, they have to decide, okay, at what point do I give up on treatment? At what point do I say, okay, it's worth more palliative care than treatment? And that's tough because our hearts are involved. Not only our hearts, but the hearts of the people that love us, that are around us, that aren't the ones immediately in the process of treatment or dying. We are all dying. We are all dying. But it's tough. Oh my gosh, you know what? I forgot I was going to say this. You ever see that statement? There's a, I don't know, some words that get splashed across like a sunset or something on the internet sometimes. You should live your life as if you're going to die tomorrow. And I think, that's nonsense. That's ridiculous. I can't live like I'm going to die tomorrow because I'm not going to die tomorrow. Those are the choices I have to make. If I lived like I was going to die tomorrow, I could do some very foolish things. We always have to be looking at the now and the future and plot it out. One of the interesting studies that Gawande had was he was talking about wanting to be with family and how it says, oh, older people just want to be with family. He said, actually, that's not intrinsic to older people. It's actually, hey, Anne, it's actually intrinsic to whether you think you're in danger. So if they did some studies saying, okay, for young people that were seriously ill, they actually wanted to be with the people that they had known for a long time, the loved ones, right? And not be around all new adventures and things. I'm getting all kinds of good love from Anne. And that once these people became well, they were okay with expanding their worlds again. And they wanted to expand their worlds again. Also, when people are in distress, like right after 9/11, Americans were like, oh, I just want to be with people that I really love, the people that I'm closest to. Well, after they got over the crisis, they wanted to expand their worlds again. So that can be true, actually, it's a mental state as well. People who are old have varying levels of frailty, and they also have varying levels of how safe they feel. So we could know that we're frail and we could die, but we also want to experience new things, which is kind of tied back into that statement that I reject, that you should live your life as if you're going to die tomorrow. We should understand what our priorities are and understand what we love to do and what brings us the most happiness. So live today with the priorities that you most hold. Make time for them. And oh God, as a project manager, I love projects. I love personal projects for creativity. Oh, you get in the truck and drive up north to see your brothers. Yeah, see, when we feel in crisis, we want to be with our family. And so we should remember that, and remember that our family is important, but also remember that we need to keep our horizons open. So pay attention to the kernel and have the kernel of the loved ones, and keep in mind what our deepest happinesses are. So when we consider how we're living our life and how we want this whole thing to go, it helps to remember what Gawande was talking about. We are mortal. And how are we going to work that out? How are we going to work that out for ourselves and for the people around us? So that's my moment of wonder today. It's kind of a bummer, but it's real. So I'd love to see what comments you have. Thank you, Anne, for commenting. And let me know. Okay, guys, I'm out.